You're listening to Don't IEP Alone with special education advocate Lisa Lightner. For more information about Lisa, the IEP Toolkit, and more ways we can help you in your process, go to adayinourshoes.com. Now back to the show with your host, Lisa.
Hello and happy 2025. Welcome to the first new episode of 2025 of the Don't IEP Alone podcast. I apologize for it being so late in the year. I certainly didn't mean for it to be the second week of January till I got it out there. If I'm being honest, I actually had recorded other videos or other podcast episodes. And the day I recorded them, I didn't really feel like doing it, but I had time to do it, so I did it. Then when I went to upload them and publish them, I looked at them and the transcripts, and it was just such garbage. It was so evident that I wasn't feeling it that day. So I was like, I can't put this out there, not for the first episode of the new year. So it got deleted, and here we are later than planned, but that's okay. Welcome. I am actually, even though I didn't feel like doing it that day, I'm actually very excited about 2025, and I'm excited for the first time in a while. I guess maybe I was experiencing a little bit of burnout, or I don't know what the word is. 2024 was, if any of you work in the online space, you just know that 2024 was a very strange year, and it was a very stressful year and a very up and down year. For a lot of reasons out of our control as online business owners. So I'm looking at you, Google. Google just made a lot of significant changes that hurt online publishers. And I'm going to be honest, I don't make any money from this podcast. I make money from one-on-one clients, which is fine, of course. And I make money from ads on the website. And it's the ads on the website that enable me to devote time to the website. So when Google affects that, and then they affect me being able to reach people and get them in my training, get them to buy toolkits, all that good stuff that I offer, it's stressful when you're trying to run a business and Google's not showing your stuff to people. They don't want people to see it. And then Facebook says, well, we don't want them to see it either. And Pinterest says the same thing. Well, we don't want them to see it. So it's really difficult to have an online business sometimes because you are at the mercy of platforms that you have no control over, right? So it's not necessarily build it and they will come if they can't find the road to get to you. So anyway, so that's why I was feeling very deflated for most of last year, but now I'm feeling energized again and ready to tackle it and ready to dig in and say, yeah, we got this. We can do this. So one of the new initiatives that I'm doing is a program. It's an initiative. It's a program. It's an idea called Stepping Up for Disabled Kids. What that is it's going to be a hub of information on A Day in Our Shoes. It's also going to be a Facebook group. And what we're going to do is I'm going to keep everybody hopefully informed and knowledgeable on the issues, the government issues, the bills, the legislation, budgets, stuff like that. We're going to talk about these things that affect our kids and hopefully reach out to legislators in large numbers, enough to affect change. We can affect change. The election results were not what I had hoped for. But I can't sit around for the next 2 years and cry about it either, right? So let's turn our anxiety into action, and your voice does matter. This was by no means was this a mandate on anything. When you look at the number of people who voted, and then when you break down the number of people who voted in each state, this election was not a mandate on anything. It really wasn't. And certainly, I can use the example of Senator Casey here, who was a champion for disabled people for his entire 18-year tenure in the Senate. He lost his race, and he lost his race by 13,000 votes. And we're talking about Pennsylvania is a state of over 12 million people. So 13,000 is nothing. This was not a mandate. People were not loving Dave McCormick. He just happened to squeak by. So, and stories like that happened in many, many, many states. So, and there were a lot of races decided because people voted for the third party candidates. So I want to say, a lot of it I call I'm really starting to ramble off topic here. So I'll stop. But anyway, Stepping Up for Disabled Kids. It's a Facebook group. It's a page. It is going to be left leaning. That is just how disability issues are. If you look at the votes over the past 10 years, you will find that if it is a policy or program that was pro disabled person, you will find that these things usually pass because of Democrats having a majority in whatever legislative body that was. So I don't think being disabled, disability doesn't choose if you're Democrat or Republican, right? Like, but the politics of it certainly are. That's just the way it goes. And there are people out there who believe that if you're disabled, that you shouldn't look to the government to help you, that you should be self-sufficient. And that's their choice. But I don't know how you say that to a person who does not have the physical nor mental capabilities to ever holding a job either. So anyway, again, I'm starting to rant and I don't want to. Stepping Up for Disabled Kids, look for it. The other thing I want you to definitely consider is that we have registration underway right now for Don't IEP Alone Academy, my online training program. Live training starts on the 16th. So you definitely want to get in by then. I have 4 attorneys lined up to do live trainings this year, which is pretty exciting. One of them is a former attorney from the Office of Civil Rights. So we are going to get to peek behind the curtain at OCR and hear from one of their former attorneys, which I'm really excited about. 3 other attorneys besides her. And as far as the live training goes, when in that program, I teach my 4-step advocacy strategy. There's 4 steps that I take with every single IEP situation I encounter, and I put them through these 4 steps. And if you do it properly, it makes it very difficult for IEP teams to say no. But anyway, I used to teach the 4 steps, or what's in the training library is teaching the 4 steps through 7 videos. So it took 7 videos to fully explain all 4 steps. But many parents were telling me, many participants were telling me that they felt that it was still too much information in any one training session. And they felt like, so just little things like I broke up, like complaints. When we're talking about complaints, there's like due process complaints, and then there's state complaints and compliance complaints. Like there's a lot of complaint options, but I broke it down into 2 sessions instead of 1, things like that. Chunking it down, just like we do for our kids, I'm chunking it down for the participants in my program. So that is another thing that I'm really excited about. And I'm genuinely excited about teaching live again and teaching the program live, the new program. I'm really excited about that. The other thing I know, this Saturday the 11th at 9 a.m. Eastern time, New York City time. I don't like to say Eastern time because I never know when it's like daylight savings, Eastern Standard, or just Eastern. And God forbid I say the wrong one on Facebook, and that people will correct me. It's not Standard Time. Whatever time it is in New York City, that's what time it is at my house. So 9 a.m. New York City time, I am doing a webinar this Saturday. What can I ask for on my IEP? I put the question out to my email list and I said, what do you all want to hear about in a webinar? What questions do you have for me? And that was by far the number 1 answer. What can I ask for on an IEP? And that's going to be a really, really good topic. You don't want to miss it. I've already done the slides for it. It's going to be good. So sign up. I put it on Facebook. I'll put it in the show notes, but definitely sign up and attend that. So that's what I have going on right now. I'm sure I have other things. I know I have a new IEP meeting, Surthrival kit. Get it? Surthrival? Funny? No, not funny. I liked it. So I have that out there. And it's 2025. So we are in the first week of January. What I want you to do right now for your IEP is you need to be reaching out to your team if you are seeing issues like regression, like recoupment of skills, things like that. Also, any significant observations that you had over the holiday break, any of those things that your IEP team told you, like, well, we never see that here, which I believe them, right? Kids do act differently at home versus at school, and we need to acknowledge that as parents. They may truly not see that behavior at school. But if there was anything significant that you did see, this is the time you want to be documenting that and sending it to your team. Okay? You don't need to wait for a meeting. You can just, I know here in Pennsylvania, we had a snow day and then we had a delayed start. So like our new year has gotten off to a rocky start and people have been distracted. But, end of this week is, everybody should be kind of getting back into their routines, and Thursday and Friday of this week would be a great time to reach out and say, hey, dear IEP team, I wanted to share with you some observations that we had over holiday break, or some observations that we're having as my child transitions back to a routine after having been off school for 2 weeks, or having, numerous disruptions in their routine due to snow, whatever. Okay. And just list them. What's going on? School refusal, anxiety, behaviors, what's going on? And you just need to let them know this is a great documentation time, and it serves as data and documentation for the team, right? Anecdotes and parent stories and parent reports absolutely can be data to be considered in IEP team decisions. So don't forget that. Where does it say that in IDEA? No, it doesn't say that. You show me where it says you can't. There you go. So that's what I always say when people go, where does it say this? So anyway, I'm also fired up. I have a lot of topics I want to discuss in the podcast. I feel like I've already rambled on too much, and I've given you one tip for the day about that data and documentation piece for early January. And I will save my rants for another day, because there's just a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on in the disability world right now. And I'm anxious to share it with you. As always, thank you for being a listener. If you are in the disability community and have something to share or a topic you'd love to discuss, send us an email at iep@adayinourshoes.com, and we'll get you set up for a guest, be on my podcast. Why not, right? I much prefer having guests on and the banter that we get going back and forth instead of just me. But sometimes it's just me. That's what you get today. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your week, and I will talk to you next time.
Thank you for listening to Don't IEP Alone with special education advocate Lisa Lightner. We're so glad you've joined us and would love to connect with you outside of the show. For more information about Lisa, the IEP Toolkit, and more ways we can help you in your process, go to adayinourshoes.com. From self-care tips to common IEP mistakes, there's even more to explore. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast and subscribe to never miss an episode. Until next time, don't IEP alone, and you don't have to.